Hi, my name is Summer Blackwell, and today I'd like to talk about some of the successes and pitfalls of being a woman in the 1960s to early 1970s. One of the most commonly known discriminatory challenges that women faced in each wave of feminism was their struggles with employment. Many rallies, strikes, and marches, much like the one referred to as the Women's Strike for Equality, were orchestrated for women's equality in the workplace. This was a countrywide strike where women took to the streets and marched in solidarity and celebration of how far women had come and how far they would continue to keep going. Each one of these events pushed forward their agenda for career advancement without issues born from sexism. Women struggled to get hired for well-paying jobs due to the negative stigma surrounding their work ethic, limited educational opportunities, and the fact of them often being considered a liability. Women wanted to be more than waitresses at a diner, more than just a figure to watch the kids at home. They wanted to be chemical engineers, lawyers, and doctors, not secretaries at the beck and call of yet another man who is considered superior simply due to his Y chromosome. Not another quote-unquote breeder, which was a derogatory term coined and often used by women at many protests. Women simply wanted to be seen as more and do more, but were often seen as inferior and incapable. In regards to the lack of educational opportunities and credentials, women were frequently refused when trying to enroll in post-secondary schooling. This was especially found in high-priority colleges such as Princeton and Yale, which didn't allow women until 1969. Nice to know we have come so far from that time, though. 56% of women today get their college degree, rather than the mere 7% at best during the late 1960s. Everything began to take a turn for the better in 1963, when President Kennedy took the first action that actually attempted to fix the obvious gap in wages between men and women. He signed the Equal Pay Act. This is the labor law that prohibits wage discrimination based on gender. This addition to the Fair Labor Standards Act demands equal pay for equal work by forbidding employers from paying men and women different wages for doing the same job. With this great success, however, other obstacles persisted. Before I had briefly listed women being considered a liability as a reason they had such difficulty obtaining employment, or more accurately, keeping it. Women often were rejected from jobs of all types just for having young children, which, of course, was the social expectation for women at the time. Similarly, women also faced something called pregnancy discrimination. If a woman got pregnant, which again was expected of her, they would almost certainly get fired from their current occupation. People had this nonsensical belief that the performance of maternal functions made women incapable. Things evolved to a mandated unpaid leave rather than a flat-out termination, but it was still unright and harming the women of the time. Countless women lost their livelihoods until 1974, when the rights of, specifically, pregnant schoolteachers were called into concern. Because of these concerns, the mandated unpaid leave was ultimately declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court in the court case Cleveland Board of Education versus LaFleur. Within this case, Carol LaFleur, a teacher at Patrick Henry Junior High School, was forced to leave her job without any benefit or pay as required of every female teacher once 4 months pregnant. She and another woman who faced the same occurrence, Elizabeth Nelson, both filed separate suits challenging the constitutionality of this policy. This case was actually rejected by the district court, brought to a higher level of court, and then concluded in violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. This one was such a huge step towards the maternity leave that we see today. Thank you for listening, and please keep in mind that these are only a few issues women had to fight to overcome in the 1960s to late 1970s, and honestly, haven't stopped fighting for to this day.